Harness the power of Microsoft Copilot Vision, creating professional business documentation.
Thank everybody for joining the webinar today. My name is Rob. I've been the CTO here at Beringer for almost 2 decades. Actually, my anniversary is coming up. So I've been around for sure. Just found out this morning that I'm so old. I'm actually just about the same age as the internet, which is either exciting or disappointing. I haven't quite determined that yet. But the cool thing is that it's allowed me to grow up my entire life playing with all sorts of cool technologies. And Microsoft Copilot is no different. So I use Copilot a lot. In fact, I rely on Copilot every single day, the way that some people rely on their favorite multi-tool. So whether I'm documenting complex workflows, trying to communicate clearly with my team, consolidating data from different sources, or even writing code, Copilot is right there with me. So for me, it's not about saving time. It's about turning everyday tasks into something smoother, smarter, and really more creative. In fact, Copilot has become my daily companion, and in general, helps me focus less on the busy work, which we all hate, and more on the big ideas. So we're going to walk through a series of Copilot and how it can actually help you and your organization be more productive. But today, we want to focus on one of my favorite features of Copilot called Vision, which is a very unique feature of AI. And in fact, if you have a Windows 11 license, it is free to you. What's unique about Copilot Vision is that it doesn't actually browse websites on your own automatically, right? So it's not your traditional AI where it's a crawler or an autonomous agent that can go off and explore things without you. What it does is it actually interprets what's on your screen when you share it. So I can be looking at a website, a PDF, an app, an Excel sheet, data charts, anything. It essentially acts like a visual analyst, and it really helps me understand and extract the information from what I'm looking at. So the way I like to describe Copilot Vision is that it's like putting on a pair of superpowered glasses, right? So normally when you look at a document or a dashboard or even a messy workflow, you just kind of see the surface. But with these superpowered glasses, all the hidden details pop out. So connections, insights, patterns, all the things you might have missed. So Copilot Vision doesn't just show what's there. It helps you understand it. And instantly, it's like a guide whispering the important parts in your ear. Today, I have a good use case for you. I'm looking for a Microsoft cloud provider that can help solve our organizational challenges with AI. I don't know where to look, I don't know where to begin, but I did find a company called Beringer, and quite frankly, I'm not sure if they're the right fit. So what I want to do today is explore the website, but I want to bring Copilot Vision along for the ride and sort of prompt it along the way and see if it can actually help me do my research a little bit easier, as well as provide some sort of documentation that I could send internally back to my manager. So first, I'm going to open up the Copilot app that comes with Windows 11. If you don't have it installed natively, you can go to the Windows App Store and you can download it and install it for free. So let me bring it up on my screen to show you what it looks like. And I'm sure that if you used any sort of AI app, it looks pretty similar, right? It's a prompt that says, hey, ask me anything and we'll do whatever you want, which is pretty cool. I use that a lot. But the one unique thing that Copilot has is something called Vision. So when I click on it, there's a little glasses right here called Vision. I'm going to pick a screen that I want to share, and then you're going to hear Copilot talk to me. And I hope it comes through clear. I'm going to sort of lean into my speakers so you can hear them. But essentially, I'm going to have this dialogue with Copilot where I don't just want it to go off and do something. I really want to interact with it as I'm browsing and having this experience here. All right, so let's give it a shot. There's my little glasses. And I'm going to share the screen right here. Hey, Copilot, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you, buddy.
I'm glad to hear that. How can I assist you today?
So I'm looking for a cloud provider that can help me solve my challenges with AI. So first of all, I just want to make sure that you can see my screen. Do you mind describing what you can see?
I see you're on the Beringer Technology Group website. It's touting their managed IT and Microsoft consulting services with a focus on being a trusted technology partner in Philadelphia. There's get a free quote option and a navigation menu with links to testimonials, IT services, and more. Is there anything specific you'd like to explore or need help with?
Absolutely. I'm wondering if they have AI services. Where do you think I should go?
Let's check out their IT services section. It might have details on AI solutions or related offerings. Give that a click.
I didn't see it. How about under Microsoft Consulting?
You're right. Under Microsoft Consulting, they mentioned Microsoft Copilot and Azure AI. Looks like they do offer AI services. Let's click on that to learn more about their AI solutions.
Awesome. So this is the page. Copilot, quite frankly, I don't have enough time to read it, so I'm just going to kind of scroll through it. I want you to put your eyes on it. I'm going to scroll through all of this information. I hope that you can read it faster than I can. And I just want you to consume it all because I'm going to have some questions for you when we're all done here.
Got it. Taking in all the details on the Beringer Technology Group's AI services page. Feel free to ask your questions whenever you're ready.
All right, so I just went through the entire site, and I really want to also take a deeper look at something here called the Beringer Buddy.
The Beringer Buddy sounds intriguing, but I can't see it on the current page. It might be a feature or service not highlighted here. I recommend reaching out to Beringer directly through their contact form or giving them a call for more information on the Beringer Buddy.
Awesome. Thank you. Have you had enough time to consume this webpage?
Yes, I've had a chance to absorb the information. The Beringer Buddy Copilot agent is a custom level 1 Copilot, integrating various Microsoft services and published to teams. It consumes transcripts and chats to enhance responses. Anything specific you'd like to know?
So I just stopped Copilot, so it's not listening to me anymore. But essentially what I did was I browsed through the website, I let it consume all the information, so now it has it stored inside of its memory. So now I can start not only asking it questions, but actually asking it to take action on some of the things that we've seen here. And by the way, I know that I'm going through an actual web page, but I could have switched between a different app, a different Word document, different screens, whatever my process might be, essentially for it to consume as much information with the goal of creating some sort of documentation for me. So I'm going to go back to Copilot here. I'm just going to maximize the screen. What's really cool is that you can see there's a full transcription of the entire conversation that we have. So everything that we talked about is here. And I can continue to either talk to it or I can just simply type into the chat any questions that I have. So the first thing I want to do is ask it to write me some sort of summary on the AI services that Beringer has. I'm also going to ask it to address it to my manager, June, in a very professional tone, right? Because June asked me to go off and write the summary about how Beringer can help me. And quite frankly, I don't feel like writing the email. Okay, I know I might sound lazy, but once again, that is the purpose of using some sort of Copilot agent, is to have it do all that busy work for me, so I don't have to. So based on the screen that I just saw, it started writing my email. There's my subject. Here's all the different services that Beringer offers. It looks nice and professional, doesn't it? I think so. How about this? I also want to provide instructions on how June can actually navigate to the Contact Us screen in case she wants to go to the website herself and contact Beringer for information. So I'm going to prompt and say, hey, can you include step-by-step instructions on how to navigate to that Contact Us page? So this is the important piece here because I use this all the time when I'm writing my documentation. So if I'm writing an SOP for somebody to follow, if I'm writing documentation for one of the products that we create, I simply want to go through the process of what I just did here. Turn on Copilot Vision, have it watch me walk through the process as I'm talking to it, and then essentially ask it to create that documentation for me. So that's the real magic right here. You can see right here it says navigating to the Beringer Contact Us page, and here you have very detailed instructions around how to do it. That one feature right there is a huge time saver. not only for me, but for my team, because not only does it write documentation quick, it writes it better than I can ever write it. All right, so let's go back to my web page. One of the new features it has as well is the ability to take screenshots. And it can use these screenshots to extract information too. So maybe there's something I want to focus on. So I'm going to go back to my website. And I know that I talked a little bit about this Beringer buddy. So I'm going to ask Copilot to grab a screenshot of it. So I'm going to click on my plus, take a screenshot. And let's grab a screenshot of that. There's not much here, but I'm just pulling in that information to include in my documentation. So there is my screenshot. And I'm going to say something like, please add this screenshot to my instructions. So as I'm going through the process of building my documentation, I know strategically I want to grab screenshots, and then I can have Copilot Vision extract important information from it and incorporate that into my documentation. So you can see now it actually has a little more detailed information on my Beringer Buddy Copilot agent based on my screenshot, which is pretty cool. In addition to looking at your screen and listening to your voice, you can also add other information to help enrich this conversation. For example, I can upload files. So perhaps I contacted Beringer and they gave me information about pricing because that's not something they provide on their website. It's not public. So I can go ahead and I can actually upload that pricing sheet here. So let me find my pricing and add it to my chat. And I'm going to say something like, I have some pricing here. Can you please summarize all the pricing options and include it in my email to June? Let's see if it can actually extract that and provide a more meaningful email. So it's reiterating everything that it's provided me already. There is my pricing summary. Is that correct? Oh, it is. Look at that. IT services cost 250 hero credits. They sure do. But that's pretty cool. Once again, this is all here where I can simply just copy and paste it into my email, or if I wanted, I can actually have it generate me an email directly from here, or actually put it inside of a Word document. Pretty cool so far? All right, how about we take it to the next level? So maybe if I send that email to June, maybe she reads it, maybe she likes it, but maybe she has questions of her own. So what if I cut out that communication layer of having to actually send her an email? What if I invited June into this Copilot chat? So now she can interact with Copilot Vision in the context of the conversation that we're already having. So this is a really cool feature here. There's a little invite button, and this was just introduced, I think, last month. Wait, it's December, maybe October, but pretty recently, where I can click on invite and click on this invite by link. I now have this magical link that if I paste into June, she can actually join this real time. So I'm going to paste this behind the scenes and send it to her. And so in the background, I'm looking at Microsoft Teams and I'm saying, hey, June, I found out some great information about Beringer and all their AI services. Click on this link right here to join me on my Copilot chat, and maybe we can all collaborate together with Copilot. So now instead of passing messages back and forth between the teams, Copilot now becomes an active member of our team. So I just sent it to June, and I can see that June has just joined. And I think she's going to ask some other questions about the website. I'm curious to know if Copilot can answer those. So let's see. What do you want to ask her, June?
One moment. I want to know more. I want to know if Beringer does the IT services or what else they do. So let's see.
All right, so right now, June has a very similar screen. In fact, she's seeing the exact same content I'm seeing. Oh, and there's June's prompt right there. Does Beringer offer IT services? And it was able to look at our website and give some information. Of course we do. Managed IT services, support services, all sorts of great stuff that Beringer offers. Pretty cool, huh? Awesome. Well, that's pretty interesting. I want to ask it one more question here because in addition to it seeing my website and everything that I scroll through, I don't know if you noticed because the screen was in full screen mode, but I did peek up and I did expose the Beringer.net address. So at this point, Copilot is also aware that I'm on the Beringer.net website. It's well aware of the context of talking about Beringer Technology Group. So I want to ask him more generic questions like, hey, what videos is Beringer currently sharing? And at this point, clearly I didn't show it any videos during our vision session, but it should be smart enough to actually now go out and search the internet and say, okay, well, based on everything I've seen, I'm going to find contextually aware videos from Beringer. And there you go. There's a leveraging Copilot, lead automation, a lot of great videos. By the way, with different references, you can see my citations here that I can click on those and I can actually take a direct link to those. It also brought me to the official video page on the YouTube channel, as well as created this really cool carousel of all the different videos that it found. So right from here, I can watch any of those videos that Beringer has to offer. Pretty neat stuff, huh? It's 2:21. I want to make sure we have enough time for questions here. So I'm going to bring it back to June in just a minute, but before I do, I want to remind you that Copilot is a very fun tool. And I don't know why I've gotten into this habit. Actually, I do know why, because at one point Copilot prompted me to generate a fun comic based on my documentation. So every time that I document one of our products or our services or processes, Copilot jumps in and says, well, hey, do you want me to build you some sort of infograph or fun comic that represents what we just did? And I'm like, yeah, why not? It sounds fun, sure. But what I found out is that when it generates these comics, and I send these comics out ahead of the actual documentation, I find that I get so much more user adoption because people like fun things. Sometimes they don't want to read through all the documentation that you built. They want something that's very easy to look at, to consume, and to remember. So I'm going to let it generate this image when we bring it back to June. It takes a little bit. It's not as quick as text, but you will see my comic pop up in just a minute. What do you think, June? Do we have any good questions here that I can help answer?
I think one's coming up, but while we get that question, someone's typing. You can see someone was typing. Let them think about their question. So what about security options? Vision is watching everything you're doing on the screen. Is there a way to tell it not to look at certain things? Like, can you say, hey, look at everything, but ignore that Excel document over here? Or something like that. Or if you open a document by mistake while you forget that Vision's running, can you say, oh, yeah, please don't record that thing you just already saw? How does it handle that? Or does it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So really, Vision has access to everything that you have access to as long as you're sharing it on your screen. So first and foremost, you have to give Vision permission to your screen or your camera. So it doesn't just automatically pop up and start watching you. You're in control of when it's active. There's really no way to set any sort of ignore list for your apps. Once again, it can see whatever you want. But the cool thing is that it does follow all of Microsoft's privacy protections. So anything that I consume here during my Vision quest, hope that's not lost on people, essentially gets stored temporarily in memory so I can ask it questions. But once I leave that conversation, that information doesn't go past my organization, which is pretty cool. I would say the best way to handle it as far as ignoring essentially is to disable Vision when you're looking at sensitive apps, like if you're looking at HIPAA compliant information or banking information. You can also have separate desktops like I do. So I have one screen that I'm sharing with the company and with Vision. So that way I don't have Vision looking at my other screen. But in the end, once again, it has access to everything that you can see as long as you give it access to your camera or your screen.
Okay, so we have, I do have a question up here from, so I guess the question is there particular licensing that people have to have? I have a user asking, it says that they have Copilot from M365, but it doesn't seem to have the vision features. It won't let you directly interact with your live screen. Do you know why would that happen? Is that a license? Does it sound like a license issue, or is that something their admin could have turned off? Do you know?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. So there are two separate Microsoft Copilot apps. Keep in mind the one that I'm sharing is called Microsoft Copilot. And this is the free version that comes with Windows that you can download and log into. And this is the only version that has Vision. The other one comes with Office 365, Microsoft 365, however they decide to brand it this month. But essentially the Microsoft 365 Copilot app does not have Vision. That one actually has a licensing fee. I thought it was $30 a month, but I thought that Microsoft brought that down to closer to $20 per user per month. But the Microsoft 365 Copilot app is the one that has access to all of your organizational data. We'll cover that during a separate demo, but that's the one that knows everything that I know around Microsoft Teams, around my email, around my calendar, around SharePoint, about all the meetings that I've attended. So I can essentially say, hey, go off and give me this information without looking at a single email. Those are some really, really cool tools. But to answer that question, Microsoft Vision is not part of Microsoft 365 Copilot. It is part of the Windows Copilot that comes through with Windows 11.
Okay, that's good. Actually, I'm looking at the chat, and one of the other users provided an answer as well. So I think it's yes. Thank you for reading the question and providing your answer as well. Sonona, I think, and Tyler, thank you for the question. So we mentioned about having your administrator changing settings or things like that, but it sounds like it's a permissions issue. It's more about not permissions, but it's to do with what's included in what package. So there's a lot of detail around this because Microsoft has included different features in different places. So it depends on what versions you have, what licensing you have, and really your IT team, whoever that is, whether it's Beringer or someone else, you should be able to answer the questions about whether you have access to Vision and where and how you can use it. Let's see what else.
Yeah, and just to point something else out there as well, June, an IT administrator could limit using Copilot Vision on your PC, once again, depending on how that environment is managed. So while they can't enable or disable features of Copilot, they can block the app altogether. They can block the ability to share out your camera or your screen or other input sources. There might be some network controls or device policies that can essentially block this ability. But in this case, if you have access to be able to run the Windows version of Copilot on your computer, you should have access to Vision. And by the way, we're getting close to time here. Am I still sharing out my screen? Do you see that cute little comic?
The comic is there.
So once again, like, I didn't make any of that up. Copilot really took all that in based on the session that we just had, and then it created this cute little comic. Probably doesn't make too much sense here, but I can tell you that when I create SOPs for my team and I expect them to follow those SOPs, and I create this gorgeous documentation, they may read it, they may ignore it. We all know how end users are. They just want to get on through their day. But creating this little comic is something that they're going to look at, they're going to smile, and they're going to remember. And in fact, if it's something very important that I want them to follow day in and day out, I'm going to take this comic, I'm going to send it to my IT administrator and have it set it as their background. So that way they always know exactly what to do and there's no excuse. Thanks, Copilot.
To wrap up, thank everybody for attending. And thank you for the questions. I'm glad there's engagement here. Just a quick plug for if you may or may not be familiar with Beringer Technology Group. If you are, then you know about our services. But if you don't, we are a full service provider. We're not like all other managed services providers. We do offer both services in cloud apps, Copilot and AI being a big part of that, but also we are a full service managed services provider for IT and networking as well, cybersecurity, other things as well. Again, check out the website, www.beringer.net. This will be going up on YouTube, so I'll just ask to please like, subscribe, and leave us comments if you go over there and watch it again. And yeah, thanks everybody. I appreciate your time, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.